Hello students, welcome to another biology class. In today's class, we are going to discuss the next process of human reproduction, that is oogenesis. So there is no such difference in spermatogenesis and oogenesis. So if you understand spermatogenesis very clearly, you will also understand oogenesis, but only with a few exceptions which we see in the oogenesis, they are not in the spermatogenesis. You should understand very clearly those exceptions. So let us start with the definition, the process oogenesis. So oogenesis is the formation of egg or ovum from oogonial cells in the ovaries. It's a formation of egg or ovum from oogonial cells. Oogonial cells inside the ovary is called the oogenesis. So here oogonial cells are called the gamete mother cells. These gamete mother cells undergo meiotic division and they produce the female gamete egg or ovum. So the oogenesis we may call the discontinuous process, whereas spermatogenesis is continuous process. So why we should call the spermatogenesis a continuous process? Because spermatogenesis starts at the puberty and it is continuous throughout the life of the male individual. But oogenesis takes place in two parts. The first part of oogenesis starts at the embryonal stage of the female fetus or baby. Inside the mother, the womb, the process starts. But it stops at the time of birth and again it restarts at the puberty age of that female individual. Means this whole process continues in two parts with a small gap between from birth to the puberty. This is the main difference between spermatogenesis and oogenesis. Spermatogenesis initiates or starts at the puberty and continues towards the reproductive phase of the or throughout the life of the male individual. But oogenesis is not like that. It starts in the embryonal stage of the female baby and at the time of birth it stops and again it restarts at the puberty with a small gap from birth to the puberty. So hence it is called the discontinuous process. So we'll discuss both the parts. First we'll discuss the before birth, what are the changes which are taking place, and then we'll also discuss the changes or the process which takes place at the puberty. So at the time of the embryonal development, means when the embryo or fetus is 1 month age, the process starts when the fetus or embryo is 1 month age. 1 month of embryonal age. So this process starts. So the ovary is somewhat oval shaped structure which is lined by germinal epithelium. This is the germinal epithelium which is lining the wall of the ovary. These germinal epithelial cells undergo repeated mitotic divisions and forms the group of oogonial cells. They form the group of oogonial cells. So this process starts in the ovary of the fetus which has only 1 month age. So this process observed when fetus is only 1 month age. So this is the first step. So by the mitotic division, group of oogonial cells are forming. The number may be only thousands, but this is continuing up to the 5th month of embryonal age. 5th month of embryonal age. So by the time of 5th month, there are millions of, minimum 7 millions of oogonial cells are forming inside the ovary of the fetus or embryo. So these all 7 millions of oogonial cells are not going to form egg in future, because most of them are undergoing atresia, a process called the atresia. Atresia means shrinkage of these cells or degeneration of these cells. Because of this atresia or shrinkage, there are only few millions of oogonial cells are remaining at the time of birth. So at the time of birth, so only 2 millions of oogonial cells are remaining. But there is no addition or no more new oogonial cell formation takes place after 5th month of the embryonal age, which we may also call the 25th week. After 25th week, there is no more addition of new oogonial cells to this group. But among these 2 millions also, many of them undergoing atresia process, which is continuing. So only few of them at the puberty, at the time of puberty, only 60,000 to 80,000 oogonial cells are remaining, or primary follicles are seen at the time of puberty. Among this, only 400 to 450 are going to become functional egg during reproductive phase of the female individual. So even though there are millions are produced before birth, but not all the oogonial cells are becoming functional. At the time of puberty, there are only 60,000 to 80,000 primary follicles will be remaining. Among them, only 400 to 450 is, the primary follicles are maturing as the functional, the female gamete or egg or ovum during the reproductive phase of the female. So this is the first part. So we'll continue the second part, the process. So the germinal epithelial cells or germ cells undergo repeated mitotic divisions and forms the oogonial cells. So the completion of oogonial cells formation is continued only up to 25 weeks of embryonal development. So after that, there is no more addition of oogonial cells. But these oogonial cells starts dividing. So they starts dividing. The division is meiotic division. But the division is not going to be completed. So their division is arrested only at the stage of prophase 1. So these oogonial cells, they starts the division of meiotic process, but that is not going to be completed, and they are halted or arrested, or they stop the cell division only at the prophase 1 stage. In that stage, these cells are called the primary oocytes. They are called the primary oocytes. So the primary oocyte, oogonial cells are also diploid. Primary cells, oocytes are also diploid, which have started meiotic division, but it is not completed. But this primary oocyte is not continuing cell division, but there are many changes are taking place in the primary oocytes. What are those changes? The primary oocyte, this is the primary oocyte, which is now surrounding with some of the membrane-like structure. These membrane-like structures are made by granulosa cells. So this primary oocyte is now surrounding with some membrane-like structure. When this primary oocyte is surrounded with the granulosa cells, now it is called the primary follicle. It is called the primary follicle. The inner cell is called the primary oocyte, which has arrested at prophase 1 stage of meiotic 1, and it has now surrounded with a membrane which is made by granulosa cells. Now this is called the primary follicle. This primary follicle now enters the next stage that we call the secondary follicular stage or follicle stage. So the characteristic feature of secondary follicle stage is, so this primary follicle is surrounded with few more membrana granulosa cells layer. It's surrounded with few more granulosa cells. Means this layer is now becoming multi-layer. So it surrounds with few more layer of granulosa cells. And also there is a formation of a theca layer. There is the formation of theca. So the addition of few layers of granulosa cells plus theca layer are the characteristic feature of the secondary follicular stage. Now the secondary follicular stage are entering to the next stage. That stage is called the tertiary follicular stage or tertiary follicle stage. During tertiary follicle stage, what happens? There is a formation of antrum. The antrum is forming here, or antrum is a cavity. Antrum is forming, or a cavity is forming within this theca layer, and also the theca layer is differentiating into outer theca externa and inner theca interna. It is differentiating outer theca externa and inner theca interna. So what are the changes which are seen in during the tertiary follicular stage? There is a formation of antrum, a cavity is forming. Along with that, the theca layer is now differentiating as the external layer as a theca externa, internal layer is called the theca interna. So now this stage is called the tertiary follicular stage, and this stage what happens? This primary oocyte now continues its first meiotic division, or it completes the first meiotic division. And because of that, what happens? I am going to draw this structure of primary oocyte here. This is the primary oocyte which undergo the first meiotic division. Already it is started, but it completes. The first meiotic division is complete, and because of that, what happens? Two cells are forming. So which is arrested in prophase 1 stage is now continuing in this stage and completes the first meiotic division. At the end of first meiotic division, there are two daughter cells are forming from the primary oocyte. The primary oocyte which is diploid, the daughter cells which are formed from this diploid primary oocyte are haploid. But these daughter cells are unequal in size. One is large cell, one is small cell. And this is because of the unequal distribution of the cytoplasm. The nucleus divides equally and distributed two cells, but cytoplasma divides unequally, and because of that, there is a large cell is called the secondary oocyte, and this one is the first polar body. First polar body. So this, when secondary oocyte formation takes place, so now the tertiary follicle is called the Graafian follicle. This is called the Graafian follicle, and there are many changes also takes place in the secondary oocyte. The secondary oocyte is now surrounded with the one more layer, This is called the zona pellucida. Zona pellucida layer is surrounding the secondary oocyte. But only first meiotic division has completed. But there is still second meiotic division is there. The second part of meiotic division is still it is there. But it completes or starts only when the secondary oocyte has allowed the entry of sperm. When the sperm enters inside the secondary oocyte, then only the second meiotic division is going to be completed. And so before that, the Graafian follicle is rupturing. Here is the secondary oocyte and this is the Graafian follicle. When this Graafian follicle ruptures, the secondary oocyte comes out. This process is called the ovulation. This secondary oocyte enters the fallopian tube. Secondary oocyte enters the fallopian tube. Suppose if it receives these sperms, if sperm enter, then only secondary oocyte undergo second meiotic division and produce again one large cell and one small cell. This large cell is called the functional oocyte and this is called the second polar body. Second polar body. So in this way, the oogenesis is going to be completed. So it has completed in two parts. One part before birth and second part is at the time of puberty. So this is the difference between spermatogenesis and oogenesis. So we'll continue the same topic in the next video.